Hardest thing in the world is to try to people or to help people understand life experiences and what you've gone through and how you perceive the world and the point of views. And so I don't really understand. I mean, I'm trying to help people understand like basic construction and how stuff really works. And I don't really know how to do this to help people really understand. Well, anyway, I posted this. So basically, when I was 15 years old, I went to Sturgis. It was one of the craziest things. I mean, here, let's do this. Let's Sturgis, South Dakota, for the 50th anniversary. I mean, this place was you can't even imagine. There were six. I mean, all right, let's do this. So one of the things is I have so much shit going through my head all the time, and so much information that I mean everything at once. It's like kind of just wanting to like regurgitate word salad and just spit everything out at once, and that's not really helping anyone either. Like I said, this is a learning process for me. I'm trying to help everyone understand something that is basically impossible to help explain for people to really understand. Anyway, so I went to this. It was pretty cool. I think there was 600,000 people that actually registered for this, and one of the coolest things ever was I actually worked for. They're no longer in business, but and that's the sad part. I mean, guys, you guys, Timmy Honda dealer in Pueblo, Colorado. Let's see if we can. Well, they used, they used to be downtown Pueblo. And that's kind of where some of this has started to from because they were in one of these old buildings that were from flood. And one of the cool things was is in the back of the shop you could go and there was a big trap door, like a big metal trap door, and you opened it up and there was like a ladder I think or a stairwell going down. But anyway, there was a great big opening where all these tunnels connected underneath all these old buildings. So like Union and or not Union, but most of the downtown where Union, yeah, Union Avenue. I wanted to say Union Depot, but that's not it. But Union Avenue down in that area, most of that stuff was all connected by tunnels. And like I was showing you guys earlier, like in 1883 the tree was cut down. I showed you where the tree is still. I mean, you can't mass produce construction, guys. You can't. Anyway, the reason why I wanted to tell you about Sturgis is because of life experiences. Like you can't even try to help people understand life experiences. And the reason why I'm bringing up Sturgis Motorcycle Rally is because of this right here. I want you guys to go watch this. I don't want to get in trouble for playing it.
That's when a sculptor from Massachusetts by the name of Korchak Julkowski came here to the Black Hills of South Dakota to work on Mount Rushmore. Not too long after that,
So if this guy worked on Mount Rushmore, and this is like they're saying this is 1933 when
Chief
this was
Sandier
finished.
invited the sculptor to work on a mountainous tribute to the Native American Indian, honoring their culture.
So this, when I was in South Dakota, they barely started working on this. They basically had his arm cut out, and that was it. I mean, out of the big rock, that was it. They had. So, and the reason why I'm bringing this up is because think about that. If this started in, when did they say that this started in? Like 18 or 1948, okay? And this is where they're at. This is how much carving they've gotten done. And then some of the stuff I was noticing, look, they broke off rock here. And if you look at Mount Rushmore, it is a clean cut. Now, I don't know if they purposely did this. It doesn't, they did. But I mean, it just is not the quality of cutting that is on Mount Rushmore. And if this guy is the same one that worked on it, the quality should be the same. I mean, that's basically what you're saying to me. But here, you look at Mount Rushmore and you see the carving. I mean, there's no flaws in cutting. I mean, these guys were precision masons. Precision. I mean, they did the detail of his glasses. That's how precision maintenance or masons these guys were. Cutting the stone. I mean, have you ever worked with block and stone? Oh man, you screw up and it just fractures. I mean, it will just split in half. So if these guys were able to accomplish this, and basically, let's find out when Mount Rushmore was actually started and completed. Mount Rushmore National Park. All right, here we go. let's see. Let's see if this has anything in it. All right. I don't want to know who they are. I want to know history on it. Let's find history. History. 1923. Okay. Okay. So, I mean, like when you really start looking at history, it really it doesn't make any sense at all. I mean, the amount of work that it takes to actually do this, cut all this stone out, and make sure that you don't screw this up. And you're telling me they started this in 60-foot faces were granted 27 to 41. Okay, so why is it this one is completed within this amount of time? I mean, you can't even make any of this up. And then when they're back here in the Sturgis one for the, what is it? Mount Rushmore, that's not what I wanted. I wanted to go back here, and this is where they're at with it. Like, well, that doesn't make any sense.
Not too long after that, Chief Standing Bear invited the sculptor to work on a mountainous tribute to the Native American Indian, honoring their culture, their traditions, their heritage, and their heroes. In 1947, Jolkowski made good on that and began the Crazy Horse Memorial.
Mother helped build those stairs up the mountain. And Dad would say whenever he dropped a hammer, she was right there to pick it up.
But one getting help.
When they had 10 children. Got a lot of help.
So this is what I'm trying to point this out to you guys. Like, not everybody is the sculptor master masons, guys. I mean, it's serious skill to build this. I'm an electrician. I'm basically, all I got to do is just take my test and study for my master's, and I have it. I passed my journeyman's test on my first round in Colorado. I passed my journeyman's test first round in Washington when I was told, because they have such a weird code book, that I was not going to pass it, and I passed it first round. I barely passed it, but you have to understand, I never worked I worked in Washington before, and I knew their stuff was really hard. And this is the thing, guys, like Washington, okay, let's take them. They're a union prided state. Okay, so I've been up there working twice on two different projects. I went and worked up on a school, and I also went and worked up on a prison, SCORE. And so when I first got there to Washington, because Washington is so stringent on their license, like they have 7 different like electrical license. Like, it is the craziest thing I've ever seen. Like, you can be licensed to work on an irrigation pump, and that's it. That's all you do is work on irrigation pumps. Or you're going to be, I mean, you have fire alarm, that's easily. And then, you know, one of the things was an '07 was a low volt card. And then you had like an '02, which was residential. And like in Colorado, you have a JW card, but you don't need a low volt license. Well, there you need a low volt license. So if you become an '01 journeyman, you can do whatever the fuck you want. And then if you become a master, or they had some weird deal. So here, you have to be a master in order to run an electrical company. Up there was 2 ways around it. You could be a master, or you could own a company. And I don't know if you had to have a master's license or not. There was some weird deal up there. And I was like, well, that's kind of not right. Well, anyway, I'm working on this school, and one of the inspectors comes in. And this is nothing against females. I really don't. I've been impressed with electrical females before. And what actually impresses me with electrical females is the ones that struggle to carry wire and still do it because they know. Like, construction is struggle, guys. I mean, you are killing your body. I don't care who you are. And when women just go pick up a fucking roll of wire without bitching about it and just go do it, and they know they're struggling, yeah, I'll go give them a hand. I absolutely will give them a hand. If I know that it's gonna fucking kill them, they're gonna have to He-Man that shit, absolutely. But what impresses me is that they don't bitch. They don't say anything. They just go fucking do it. And then I'm like, okay, I'll give you a hand. It's yin and yang, guys. It's up and down, left and right. I mean, there's always give and take. But, you know, when I would help other trades out, like plumbers and stuff, because they'd be carrying something heavy and no one was there to help them, like I'd go give them a hand and they just kind of look at me like, what are you doing? And I'm like, dude, I'm not going to let you kill yourself. I mean, fuck, what is it going to do? It takes me 10, 15 minutes to help you, if that. I'm like, yeah, my employer can afford me to help another brother out, even though it's with a different trade. Like, even sitting when I did block watch one time, man, that was kind of painful, because not only that, I had blockies to work with, and me and another guy in Adelanto, we were both in charge of block and block watch. So basically you have to put your conduit in your boxes. Now remember, just me and him. He's doing the electrical side, I'm doing the detention side, and it's just me and him. And holy shit, trying to keep up with those blockies. I mean, it wasn't so bad that they were so fast that they could do stuff, but like they would just change direction in the fly of a minute, and then they would start building on the other side of the facility. And the facility is huge, and you had no idea that they were over there building. And then me and Juan were both running back and forth, yelling at each other like, hey man, they're over there building. We'd be like, fine. And the other guy would be running over trying to hurry up and get a fucking conduit and block and, or not a conduit and box in. Oh man, that was a fucking fun job, man. I have to tell you, this is a funny thing. So anyway, one day I was there with Juan or whatever, and I don't remember what we got into it over. We were both like, yeah, mad at each other. And I called him a pillow biter. I said, shut up, pillow biter. Anyway, he had no idea what that was. And it was the funniest fucking thing in the world, man. So the next day he comes back, he goes, I had no idea what that was. And from that day on, everybody in the job site was called a pillow biter. I don't care who you were called a pillow biter. And if you don't know what that is, look it up. Because I'm not going to explain it. Oh, fuck, man, construction. You guys have no idea. That's why I use the F word. When fucking hard hats go flying. Anyway, what I'm trying to tell you guys is construction, guys. There's no fucking way. And the reason why I'm trying to point this stuff out is because everything that I went through in my life brought me to this point where I was able to figure this fucking thing out. You guys have to understand, it took me 15 years working electrical and detention of security electronics to even feel like a pro. And then I know this is why I don't give a fuck. I really don't care. I just don't anymore. You know what? Fuck. What are they going to do? So I worked at this fucking facility. I was a security electronics guy. This is what taught me. So I used to do both sides of this. So we used to build this shit for these idiots. And then I went and worked for these fucking idiots. And I've never in my entire life seen such a fucking mess of fucked up idiots in my life. I mean, this is the most screwed up system. And it's just not in Colorado. It's all over. I mean, it's in California. It's everywhere. I mean, this whole prison system is the biggest fucking mess we've ever created. Holy shit, you get in trouble for the least thing and they have you pinned because now you're on parole, and if you do anything, because they pin you to parole, they charge you with everything that they can think of, and as soon as you go in front of the judge or whatever, they offer you the sweet deal, so that way you will go on parole, and then you're on parole for however long, 2 or 3 years. I mean, it could be something simple as a domestic violence. In Colorado, this is what you guys have to understand. If the cops are called to your house for domestic violence, yelling, shouting, whatever, doesn't fucking matter, somebody's going to go to jail. And not only that, the state is automatically going to apply a restraining order on the behalf of the victim, even against the victim's consent. That's how bad our judicial system has gotten. And I could tell you the story of, you guys want to talk about injustice and fucking understanding what it means to feel, what do I want to say, subhuman, to feel like you're an outcast or whatever. So one of the things is I suffer from cervical dystonia, and it's pretty bad, guys. Like, my hands shake so bad. And being an electrician, you want to talk about living on the edge? Stick a screwdriver in a 277 or 480 panel. Well, 277, 480 is the same thing without a neutral. But anyway, you want to talk about living on the fucking edge? Woo, man, I was called Michael James Fox, and I'm like, geez, man, that's kind of messed up. You guys don't even know Michael Fox, because that's how bad I shake, guys. I mean, it's so bad that people on the job site would make fun of me, which I was okay with. I mean, fuck, man, it's construction. That's how you become better, is when you razz the next guy, like, hey, you really fucked up here, and you make them feel like shit, so the next time they don't do it. And I'm sorry if you have sensitive feelings, but Jesus, man, I've done some fucking stupid ass shit in my life. I mean, I have done some fucking dumb shit. Even in construction, where I thought I fucking knew exactly what the fuck I was doing, and then all of a sudden I'm like looking, I'm like, oh fuck, why didn't I think of that? And here's the thing, guys, when I work construction, when you're building a brand new building that nobody's ever built before, like, or a different design or something that nobody has actually ever built before, it is a learning process. And because it is so screwed up in construction and everything gets change orders because they screw up so much shit. I mean, details. You guys know what an RFI is? It's when you look at a set of prints and you can't figure out exactly what the fuck they're trying to do there. So you write an RFI to the engineer so he can explain it more in detail so you can figure out what the fuck he was trying to tell you. And that's if he fucking thought about it, because I'm telling you, I've watched this shit show and it is absolutely crazy. I will give Adelanto Detention Center a prop because those guys were fucking on it. So when I was working for that system, our contract read, and this is what you guys have to understand. These are contracts and they're read specifically. And if you don't know how to fucking read these things, you can bankrupt a company in a matter of seconds by missing one item. I have seen it. Oh God, have I ever seen it. I watched that, and I'm gonna give you guys. I used to work for Sierra Detention Systems, and I'm gonna give you. So I'm in Stockton, California, and I have one superintendent above me, I have one project manager, and I'm the foreman. And thank God I had a superintendent that fucking kept all the paperwork, because I would have fucking been living there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to finish that fucking project on time. And the reason why that project was so bad is because we had such a little time, because everybody else fucked their shit up in the beginning and held up the job site. And this always happened every time because we were the security electronics company. We were the last ones to pick up the slack. So we had to go in there and just work until we were dead to finish this, to get it up and operational. And I'm telling you, when you check a door 300 times that it's secure and unsecured, you're about ready to blow your brains out. That's the mundane part of my job when I was doing it. That was not the fun part. Fixing the shit was the fun part. Putting this puzzle together and engineering it was the fun part. And I learned so much. God, man, I learned so much. When I started off as an electrical apprentice, I was the dumbest electrician you could possibly imagine. Like, I understood DC voltage from working on automobiles and stuff like that, but when it came to AC voltage, I had no idea what the hell I was doing. I really didn't. I mean, with DC, it's black and red. Easy. Easy. I mean, it's so easy. Well, you go to commercial, you're dealing with 120, all low volt, all high volt, 277, 480. Depends on how the contract was written, where it was written at. I've been to other states where they've used for 480, 277, like purple, yellow, brown, or something like that. And I asked about that because here in Colorado, it's brown, orange, yellow. And most other places, it's brown, orange, yellow. Well, anyway, I can't remember where the hell I was at where I was doing that. Maybe it was a Seattle job. And I asked them, I'm like, what? Why are you guys doing that? And they're like, well, that's the way we do it up here. And I was like, okay. And so that made me understand something too about construction. Okay, so if you're all over the world and everybody comes from different backgrounds, different ideas, different ways of doing stuff, different teaching methods, because I've watched journeyman electricians can't figure out PLCs. Like, it's so complicated to them. And I'm not giving them a hard time with it, but I had to teach journeyman electricians, because that's what we do. We'd roll into a town, we'd put an ad on Craigslist, we'd fucking hire the bottom of the barrel electricians, and hopefully we got a couple of good ones. And if I got a good one, oh fuck, that understood how this stuff worked, he was my hero. Because when you're trying to teach something new, like, it took me a while to pick up fire alarm, and the only reason I fucking fought fire alarm so much and acted like I didn't fucking want anything to do with it, because at Fremont, the fucking fire alarm is so fucked up there, and they know it. Like, Cell House 1 is the most fucking dangerous place. They fucking ruin that fire alarm every fucking week. I mean, we no more go in and repair it, and it's fucked up. And then the best part about Colorado DOC is that they've replaced fire alarms in other facilities with newer systems before they even were going to touch Fremont. That's how they think. It's not about what's priority. It's about whoever the fuck is in charge and thinks that they're God Kingdom because they fucking name little parks after them. They think that they're so fucking mighty and powerful because they're fucking in this government that they don't have to abide by the law. Oh yeah, what about the director that got hired for the Department of Corrections, got caught road hunting? And I don't know the full story of this, but you should look it up. Got caught road hunting in a state vehicle on somebody's land that made a deal to bring computer parts to have DOC dispose of them. Oh yeah, that one I heard went to court. I mean, you can't make up the dirty shit that these people do. I mean, I have never in my life. I'm like that was the most cesspool thing. Not only did you have a fucking corrupt government running the shit, you have corrupt people that you're supposed to supervise and rehabilitate to make better. And when the inmates see the corruption, how are you supposed to make them think that if they serve their time in a metal box 24 hours a day, 7 days a week until their time is served, once they get out, they're going to be better? And then not only that, I watched DLC piss away so much money on training of inmates. Like honestly, we have no electricians, we have no plumbers, none of these guys want to work anymore except for convicts. And the reason being is I work construction. This is most of the guys you will work around in construction is people that have some records. I was working with a guy, I couldn't understand it. I mean, this guy fucking worked his ass off, but he was like an idiot sometimes and a tool. He was in California, Mr. Journeyman, fucking because he had a card, and fucking I couldn't understand why the guy was sweating at 7 o'clock in the morning when we're in the middle of the desert, and it gets so hot there, it gets like 120. I'm telling you what, you haven't experienced heat until you're in the Adelanto Desert. Oh, holy cow. Anyway, this guy would start sweating at 7 o'clock in the morning, and I asked one of the guys, I'm like, what the hell's wrong with him? Why is he sweating so much? And he's like, oh, it's meth. A funny fucking story with one of the officers, and I hate to fucking throw him under the bus, but one of the officers was purposely had a brother that was, and she loved him, man. She fucking wanted to take care of him, and I still can't believe that he did this. Well, anyway, she got him a job working there, and he's just being an idiot and screwing stuff up. And then he asked one of the other guys if he could buy weed. So immediately they find this out on a construction site and they fucking drug test him. And sure enough, man, he's fucking got like methamphetamine or some shit in his system and drugs. And I'm just like, fucking your sister works for the fucking Department of Corrections that we are fucking building a facility. She got you a job, a good paying job. Because you know how much we were making out there? I think we were making $52 to $56 an hour. Because the way California worked, you didn't have to have a journeyman's license. So I was paid as a journeyman because I wasn't from California. Well, let me tell you, when I was talking about the guy that was an idiot, he found that out and was pissed off because he had to go take a test. And yet I knew more about building detention systems than he did. But he was pissed off because he had a card and I didn't, and we were making the same amount of money. Like I said, in Washington, same thing, man. I get the unions, and that's why people went to them so much, because they were protecting construction workers. And when you go back and look in history, guys, we had all of these pensions and everything, and then all of these companies, all these millionaires or whatever started just breaking up these companies. Go look at your history. Look at the 1800s of America. Look at how we were one of the most richest, powerful nations. Look at our construction. I'm telling you right now, we cannot even build anything close to that. Everything we build today, guys, you have to understand, is pour in place. Okay? Pour in place. That means we fucking put rebar up, we slap fucking wood to it, and then we pour it with concrete. That's how we build today. When they built all of this stuff back in the day, everything was block and stone. I mean, here's Memorial Hall. This is what we build. I mean, this right here. And I'm telling you right now, I took pictures of this, and I'll have to point it up there. This looks like it's brand new. I took a picture of this, and this thing looks like it is brand spanking new today. That's how that's why they built everything out of stone back then, because they knew it was going to last for a long time. And honestly, like I'm telling you guys, if you are a mason, look at this video, share it with somebody that you know is a mason or a construction worker. Ask them, hey, how long would it take to build a building out of stone like this? All glass, all detail, all woodwork, everything. And not only complete that building, but multiples by the flood. Because here's a picture of Pueblo, because there's that building right there. Pueblo goes over here, CFNI. I mean, it's absolutely massive. And you look at this picture, and we'll do this. I'll keep going through this. The courthouse where's that courthouse at? That courthouse is right here, guys. So that's the Colorado Pueblo Courthouse. Like I said, when I'm trying to just get this information, I don't even know what to do with this. I don't even know how to express this to people to tell you there's no way in hell that you could have built a city like this And I think this picture shows, yeah, 1920, Pueblo, Colorado, downtown area view of Pueblo, Colorado. Okay? In 1920. And the crazy part is like this massive building was built like this one, and this one is no longer here, along with some other buildings. And then the crazy part is, let's do this. Because this is why I'm trying to help you guys understand the trickery of this whole thing. All right, so let's go back and we will Google Earth. I think this is a learning process. I'm trying to teach you guys, and I don't know how to teach you. I really don't. I don't know how to teach construction, my life experiences, my understanding of construction, how this actually, and to give you guys an understanding of that. Look at all of this infrastructure that they put in. And like I said, when I realized what they had done, I was like, this is absolutely the craziest thing I could ever imagine. Ever imagine. Ever. All right. Seriously? Go straight. Oh, you. There we go. United States, Colorado. So I want you guys to share this. Oh, what? They must have. That's a new one. Okay. Kind of screwed that up, so let's just start over. That's a new one. No, shit, it goes back. All right. That's kind of cool. Okay, so let's go here. Colorado Springs, Denver, Pueblo. You got Trinidad. You got everything. Okay, so Pueblo West is basically one of the things that has grown in Pueblo. Because I've grown up here my entire life. I've seen this place grow. I've also seen it not grow. So I understand this place really well. I just wish I was better at explaining stuff so that way everyone can understand and not get frustrated with it. But what I've shown you guys is before. Like here is where the train turn is. Go look that up. And this levee was all built before the flood of 1921. And one of the things I want to show you is if you actually go to the courthouse. Let's do that. Let's go to the courthouse. Let's find that thing. Pretty big building. I mean, you can't miss it. Oh, there it is. All right. Let's see if we can get a standpoint. Okay. So if we look, that right there is that courthouse, and here it is right here. And I've shown you earlier pictures of this. And then this church also is another marker. And you can look, this is stone. This is absolutely stone. This one right here. I mean, this is stone. I went and took pictures of this. And absolutely, it is flawless. Okay? So let's go back out. No, let's not do that. Okay, so you can kind of see here how massive this thing is and what it looks like today. So we'll go back over here and we'll find exactly where this section is. And it looks like right there. Is that it? What street is this on? All right. That's not what I want. Okay, so this is also what I want you guys to understand too, okay? The railroad was coming to here. You couldn't go through the Rockies yet. You could not go through the Rockies yet. And if you look, Pueblo hasn't really changed that much. It really has not, guys. I mean, if you look at what we have done to the past, I mean, it's It hasn't changed that much. The only thing that's changed is we've lost a lot of old buildings, a lot of manufacturing, a lot of industry. Because if you look, smelting plants, carcasses of where they used to be, of factories where they used to be. Because this is that area for CF&I right here. Looks like a scrapyard now. Well, I'll keep showing you guys the old, is that? Huh, I wonder if that, oh. Yes, it is. There's that one lake that I found that was in front of that smelting plant that was right here. And you can see as time has changed. Ah, man, this is the coolest thing I could have ever have found. I mean, I can't even explain how cool this is. So let's go back and I'll try to give you guys. So this is a depot. This is Union. This is where the flood happened. It came through here and just trashed this area, this whole area. And what I pointed out was like the Knuckles Meat Factory. You know, where's that sucker at? All right, well, let's go back and see. There we go. That's how you do it. Okay. Nope, stop. All right, so let's line this shit up. Stop doing that. So there's the courthouse right there. I hate when they change shit. I'm gonna have to download Google Pro because this one is fighting me until I figure out how to actually get it to work right. As you can see, guys, not much has changed. Not much at all, other than we've torn down shit and rebuilt it. That's it. That's all we have done. I mean, we've added some stuff here and there, but you can imagine the scope and size of CF&I. I mean, to build something like this by 1900. Not only that, do I have a picture of CF&I, it also shows Minnequaw Lake. And then you go back and you look at the detail of the lake and you can see that it was fuller at one time. And then you go back and there's Minnequaw Park, and I mean, it absolutely is crazy because you come over here and you start looking for, like I said, Mineral Palace. Go look that up. Stop doing that. Go look up the memorial. Where's that guy at? There it is, right there. Like I went and took pictures of this. It's absolutely insane. The City Hall Memorial. They've named it so many things. Let's go down and take a look at that. Okay. (1907). Okay, so they built this in 1907 or 1917. 1917. And it's still being used today, along with other old buildings in Pueblo, Colorado that are still being used today. The Vail Hotel is right there. I was trying to get. All right, that's it. I'm stopping this video and I'm going to go back and re-download Google Pro. So that way I can refinish this video and show you guys the massive infrastructure it took to build this entire city in the matter of 30 years coming off of the train. You can't make this up if you wanted to. So anyway, I'll leave it at this. I'll keep playing. This is my new job. This is what I do now, is proving history is not what it is. I've worked construction. I'm telling you. Here, let's go back. This is what I want to show you guys. Not that I want to fucking point out and be like, oh yeah, this is what I've done, blah, blah, blah. These are the massive construction projects I've been a part of, okay? Massive. Okay, you guys can't even understand what it takes to build projects this massive, the undertaking, the scope of work. You can see big cranes. I mean, these are structures that are comparable to these, and it takes forever to build this stuff. It takes 2 to 3 years. And then not only that, you have heavy equipment to make the job 10 times easier. They did this all by shovel in hand, guys. How did they do this? This one, Score Facility, 2011. And if you go look up there, see how much has changed since this was put in. I'm telling you guys, time and development. You can't just slap something together in the middle of the night and then have it last for over 150 years or 100 years. It's not going to happen. Quality. So my wife right now, my wife is very smart, but she doesn't understand my point of view, and I've been trying to help her understand this. Caused a big, huge, I mean, this thing was, you guys can't even understand how much I'm trying to fight for this to show you guys what I have discovered. You can't even understand what it's costed me. But what I'm trying to tell you guys is, if this is America that we used to have, where we were unified, our buildings, our world was unified over the world. And I'm going to show you, like, you don't build the same stuff all over the world. I mean, you can see it. I mean, you can see the development of our construction. We went from building high quality. And so that's the other thing, guys. I went back and started looking at newspapers, and there's so much information to this. So one of the things I was looking at when I found the old newspapers was I was looking for, topics of the world at the time: economic crashes, silver shortages, stuff like that. Construction costs, them bitching about construction costs, them running out of money for construction. Like, where did we get all of this capital? Where in the world did the United States in an instant have so much capital that it built city after city after city like this by the 1900s? Where did we get so industrialized that we knew that? Like, in a blink of an eye, we went from riding around on cowboys, shooting each other with bows and arrows and fighting Indians, to one of the most modern cities in basically 50 years. And I'm telling you, when you look at this, when you understand the scope and magnitude of what Colorado actually had, it's unreal. I mean, you cannot even understand the scope and magnitude. And like I said, the reason I bring this up, guys, is to show you guys, like, I have seen a lot of shit in my life. I mean, I was a true-blooded American. I loved Harleys. God, I loved Harleys. But also, I love Japanese bikes. And to be honest with you, I actually like Japanese bikes better than I do American. And the reason being is because some American, I've dealt with Harley guys. I used to work at a place where we sold import and Harley, and we had 2 separate buildings. Because the Harleys were made with Kian carburetor systems, fuel injection system, Niacin brakes, Showa suspension, which are all Japanese companies. Some of them are owned by Honda, were the parts on the bikes. And they would get pissed because they would have to come over to me, the import side, and buy jets for their Harley. I don't know why I gotta come over here to this fucking import side to buy fucking Harley parts. Because your fucking Harley has a fucking Japanese carburetor on it, dipshit. Fucking idiots. I don't know how many fucking times I had that argument. You know what? I'm going to tell you a story. Fucking Honda saved fucking Harley from FMX, you idiots. Fucking do your research. Do your history. Think about it. Honda was one of the best companies I've ever seen being ran. The guy that started Honda said as long as you owned a Honda motorcycle, you would be able to buy parts for that Honda. And he was true, because Honda had a buyback system, or where at the end of the year, Honda would let you send back parts and they would give you cash credit for your parts. So that means if somebody had a fucking part sitting on their shelf for the last 75 years that's never sold it and realizes it and goes, hey, I can send this back to Honda, and they'll put it back out for people to search at that time for parts that they need that are discontinued. And hey, it works like a champ. But then the kids got a hold of it and they're like, oh no, fuck this. We're not doing this. We're going to fucking, you are not allowed to buy parts for your Honda anymore that are old. We're just discontinuing that shit. And then I watched Honda's quality of motorcycles go down the hill. When they introduced the 230 CRF, like in 2001, it was made in Indonesia or some shit like that, and it was like one of the Chinese cheap fucking motorcycles, and I couldn't believe that Honda actually threw their fucking name on it. I was like, what? And see, here's the thing, guys, you don't understand is parts. Is Honda makes parts for cars, motorcycles, generators, power equipment, lawnmowers. I mean, these guys are fucking Kawasaki. You don't know that Kawasaki makes ships, industrial equipment. Actually, motorcycles for Kawasaki is one of their fucking Achilles heels because there's so much suing over motorcycles, accidents. People are stupid. I mean, I swear to God, when I was working for Honda, and I'm not shitting you on this fucking story because I learned this from one of the Honda reps and he told me personally what had happened. Anyway, this guy had burned his hand pretty bad on a power equipment and sued Honda for it because he was basically claiming that there wasn't correct labeling on it. Now, I'm assuming this story is true because I heard it from a Honda rep. And he tells me at the end of it, when they're about ready to settle, because Honda, you got to understand that this is a thorn in Honda's side. They don't care. They're just like, fuck it, get rid of this guy. If we can't win, just fuck it, pay it, get rid of it. That's what they use it for. And insurance is the biggest scam ever, guys. And so what ended up happening was the lawyer at the last fucking minute was like, hey, wait a minute. It's been a year. Why is this guy's hand still bandaged? So I guess the lawyer at the time thought about it right when Honda was about ready to settle and asked the judge to have the guy remove the bandage off his hand. Well, guess what? When the guy removed the bandage off his hand, he had cauterized in his hand the hot symbol. How about another moron that I heard took his fucking lawnmower, picked it up, and chopped his fingers off because he wanted to fucking trim his hedges? I mean, you can't make up. People are stupid. They're going to do dumb shit, people. You have to understand that. I have done stupid hurts, okay? That's one of Honda's famous lines. They used to have a Band-Aid called Stupid Hurts. And you can't make that shit up. I'm like, you're fucking right. Stupid fucking hurts. And you know what? We're getting stupider by the fucking minute because nobody has the brains or critical thinking to think for themselves anymore. If it isn't fucking plastered on TikTok, fucking millennials won't believe it, or they don't want to watch it because that means it's work, and they don't want to do work because they're fucking entitled and they think that they should be the manager of the world as soon as they turn 18. That's the fucking kids you have raised because they think they need a fucking trophy. And I work construction. I watched a fucking kid, and I'm not kidding, a fucking kid in Seattle bawl on the fucking job site because Hillary Clinton lost to Trump. I was like, what the fuck? I mean, he was literally crying on the job site because that's the fucking libtard fucking world that you've invented and wanted. I'm telling you, when you find out who your celebrities really are and how vicious and nasty and disgusting they are, you're gonna fucking shit your pants. When you find out the whole fucking thing has been a lie, where do you think they got the Matrix from? You guys always wondered what the fuck. I'm telling you, I don't know how to even try to even explain. You have to understand this right here. These are train cars going through here. So somebody put track down by 1920. Somebody put in these bridges by 1920. Somebody built this courthouse, this building, these buildings, all this building, all the infrastructure, all the lights. Well, let's look at that. Let's go and see some time of. So this is. Let's see if I can find it. So this is all the stuff that I went looking for, and I went. Let's just go to my Twitter page. So that way you guys I can kind of explain what I'm trying to do with it. Because this is, I really have no idea what the fuck to do with this. I mean, not a clue of how to present this. Actually, let's just do this. Let's see if I can find it. Congress Hotel, construction, equipment, insane, opera house, nickel, courthouse, roundhouse, Santa Fe. All right, well, let's just look at Santa Fe real quick. And I want you guys to understand the development, how trickery this is. Because basically you go from this, and this is earlier Pueblos of Santa Fe, go look it up. I have it on my fucking Twitter page. And look at the buildings and the time, and then look at the train track, or this is actually a trolley. And then there was another picture, actually after I thought about it, because I couldn't find horse trolleys. Like that was a hard one because they said it in the PBS special that they had horse trolleys. And then when I was looking at this picture of Santa Fe, and there's another one where it wrote 1881 on here, and I'm looking at this and I'm like, wow, that's a horse trolley right there. And then I found more of those, and I'm going to put this one with my horse trolley and start going through this and trying to make this so you guys can decipher it and understand what you're being told right here. Okay, Santa Fe, 1870. Pueblo in 1872. Okay? Santa Fe, 1881. CF&I is already built. It's in the background, guys. Look at all of this development by 1881. Now, remind you, if time isn't correct, you have no idea when this picture was truly taken. Because, like I said, they said that they had horse trolley system before they put in the electrical trolley system. And I'm going to show you guys that, too. Okay, so this is Santa Fe. So let's go to the trolley system. Let's see if I can find that real quick. Trolley system. Here we go. Give it to me. Okay. Opera House. This was built in 1890. Look at all the stone buildings. Look at the infrastructure. Look at the trolleys. They went from horse trolleys to electric trolleys. And not only that, they advanced in their trolleys. Because here's one of Denver, and it's showing the same thing with the brush guard. And it's showing people walking with cars, so we got to assume that this is somewhere before 1920. Here's one of Grand Junction, the trolley system that they had. So basically, they were pulling this horse around, or the horse was pulling this transportation around. I mean, you want to talk about green energy? I mean, this is green energy, guys. You can't get any greener energy than this. God made us. God made the animals. Animals have been here. And then you get all these libtards, for some reason, that think cow farts are causing our atmosphere to warm up. Like, you can't make this stupid shit up. Like, if you guys ever really looked into what CO2 is and where it comes from and how it's produced and returned back into oxygen, go look up hemp plants, because hemp plants love CO2. So you're telling me marijuana plants love CO2, but yet we'll build a massive machine to scrub the CO2 that's going to require us polluting more to develop the materials in order to make it. But yet if somebody just went and planted several thousand crops of huge marijuana crops, would probably do a better job and be more green efficient than what we're doing today. I mean, like, you can't make this up. I swear to God, when I really understood, I mean, you have to understand the electrical demand and load calculations that you have to do. Here's one of Denver. I mean, the trolley system. Look at how freaking fast and quick it advances. I mean, it's just like one day, boom, trolley system. Here you go. This is another one of Pueblo. This is the one I found earlier. And this one is on Union Street. So the development, and I have pictures of this where it shows fast construction, where light poles or telephone poles just pop up, buildings pop up, stone buildings pop up. I mean, you couldn't make this up if you wanted to. Oh, and the trickery with the photographs. When you start going into this, you'll start to notice the trickery where buildings change. Flags, American flags are all over the old stuff. People, go look it up. If you're a patriot, you are a loving, God-fearing patriot, and you love this country, I'm telling you, go look at your history, and you're going to see a whole different America than you've been taught. Go look up the Civil War. Why don't we have any pictures of the Civil War? Yet we built massive, massive stone, beautiful structures. Cheyenne. We'll just do the big one. Cheyenne, Denver, Colorado Springs, Pueblo, Trinidad. This is what it looks like to build the infrastructure for a trolley system that is electric. Imagine the detail, the drawings. I'm going to show you. This was before the flood, guys. This is when they went in and rebuilt all the levees. You can tell by the cars. Go look it up on my Twitter page. You can start matching this building. You can match this building. You can match this. You can watch this develop. You can watch bridges change and develop over time. I mean, it's like it's instant construction, guys. Like seriously, it's just like an instant from horse and buggy to a full modern electrical transportation, concrete reinforced bridges from wood bridges instantly within 30 years. That's how crazy you are talking. This is in front of the power station in order to power the trolley system. This is actually in the flood of 1921, or one of the floods, because I don't know if this could have been the nasty one. I mean, that's what they're showing. But I don't know, because like I said, trickery. I mean, you can't make this up. I mean, these are all stone buildings. And that guy off of the PBS special, it's mostly made out of wood. Here's the power station for the trolley system. I could show you where that was put in. Oh, this building. Remember that thing I was showing in another video where it showed they were chiseling? Well, guess what building that is right there. I finally, like I said, it's like match and piece this together. There you guys go. This is what I wanted to show you. The patriotism, the cleanness. Look at this. This is a well-groomed civilization. This is not Billy the Kid. Because this is horse and buggy before they had car. And look at all of the American pride. I mean, this is a well-cleaned. You know why everyone was dressed in suits and everything? Because they had pride. They might not have been the richest people, but they dressed in pride. But when they were working, they worked in work clothes, guys. You think they just wore one suit all the time? I mean, look at this massive stone infrastructure. And the reason why this is in here is because of that trolley system right there with that trolley cart. Match it up with time. Telephone poles. Match it up. Look as buildings in the background appear and disappear. I mean, you couldn't make this up if you wanted to. 50 years before the flood, guys. Trains. Sewers, horseless carriages, but at the same time having the steel mill. 40 different languages spoken. Like I said, you couldn't make this up if you wanted to. Where building materials were mainly lumber. I'm like, I mean, look at the damage that flood caused. I mean, it went through and just ripped this town a new ass. Here's a picture of Union Street where the tree was at. Watch this hotel. Watch signs come up. Watch signs disappear. Watch light poles come in. Watch light poles disappear. I mean, it's fucking awesome. And then, like I said, look at the American pride. If I would have been taught this history and I would have been knowing what the Jehovah's Witnesses were, I would have did a different pursuit. Here's Union Avenue again. Okay, magically, they just go to an electric trolley system. Guys riding a horse down this. You can't make this up. I mean, when did they get time to go back in, re-rip all this out, reinstall it, re-put up buildings, take buildings down, all within 30 years? All within 30 years. You couldn't make this up if you wanted to. Here you go, Minnequa Hospital, stuff I've been finding. I didn't know Pueblo had so many different hospitals. I didn't know that they had so many different schools. I had no idea. And this is what caught me too. So I'm an electrician by trade, okay? I've seen electrical, I've seen it, but why in the world, when you have wooden poles, would you build one out of metal and stick it in the ground? I mean, that's like a grounding conductor right there. So why would you stick that in front of the powerhouse for the trolley system? I mean, look at the engineering feat of that alone. Just for the electric trolley system. I mean, you can't make this up. Here's an older picture. Like I said, watch buildings disappear. Watch telephone poles come up. You couldn't make this stuff up. When you start knowing what buildings to look for and identifying markers on buildings and time and understand what you're really looking at, you're going to realize that there is no way in hell. I mean, it's like time basically stopped and they were allowed, same street, watch buildings come up, watch the American flags. Oh, there's that building. This is before the flood because we got cars and we don't see any damage. Like I said, watch buildings come up, watch them disappear, watch signs go up on buildings, watch them go away. You couldn't make this up if you wanted to. And this is all from the Denver Library. Like I said, this one I tried to show was the cable system in this building. I mean, look at the stonework in this building alone. And the cable system. Who's the fucking engineer that put all this shit together? I mean, this is absolutely insane. This is Denver. This is Denver, okay? We could tell that this is well before cars because all we got is horse and buggy, trolley system. Look at all these stone buildings. If Pueblo was the largest employer in Colorado at this time, then how did Denver get built like this? Like this. Trolley systems. Powerhouse. I mean, you can't make this up, guys. I mean, time change. Let's see. Like I said, I've been trying to put this together to make you guys understand construction. They didn't build a city at once, as you can see here. The capital's back here in Denver. This is the Denver Mint. Look at all of that housing. And a lot of this housing today is still up because it is so high quality. We can't build like this. Here's a school in Pueblo that I had no idea. I think this was out in the county. This is the county school. I can't remember. I think it's Hensdale. Here's another one of the Denver Mint being completed with that. I mean, it's just like buildings magically just boom. And construction's done. Central High School, another one. Maybe the other one. There's so many high schools in Pueblo, you guys can't even imagine. Then I found this. This is Glenwood Springs. How did they build this all by 1900? Look at your history guy. Look who's visited it. I mean, I think this was somewhere in Denver. or this could have been Pueblo. This could have been the oh, what do I want to say? The Opera House when it burned down magically. Here, this is the trickery you're going to see on the PBS special. They're going to show you when Pueblo was formed in 1870. This is what it looked like. Well, here's what they're not showing you. The picture's been folded, and this back here is a full industrial city that is going on in the background with a train. Like, I don't know how to put this any more simple than I can, and I don't mean to be a dick, but I just come across as one. So that's why I have a theme song. I mean, this is poor. This is where I think dog patches. Like I said, I grew up in Pueblo. I've been all over Colorado. I have been all over. Like I said, the trickery with photos and stuff. The Grand Hotel, the Congress Hotel. Watch the signs go up. Watch buildings. I tried to post this and make this as easy. Like I said, buildings change. Awnings come up. Cars change. Street signs change. Trees are cut down. Here's original picture of this, and it was owned by J.P. Morgan Chase. So how did it go from that to that building to that building? I mean, here's another one, Mineral Palace. You can tell by the year. I have pictures of this. I mean, you cannot. It's like time just magically just happens. Like I said, you can watch. Okay, here's a picture of a horse cart. Here's in front of the home or the train depot. Next picture, telephone poles. I mean, when I put all this together, meat knuckles packing fact. Here you go. They show you this. This is the meat knuckles packing plant at the original they show you, okay? Let's see if I can find that. Meat knuckles. Here we go. So this is the shit they're trying to tell you. This was the original, okay? But by the flood, this was the meat knuckles packing plant. All within 50 years, guys. All within 50 years. I mean, you couldn't make this up. Look at these steel bridges. This is the stuff that they had back then. This is, if you look at the flood pictures, these bridges were taken out. Massive steel bridges. There you go. I mean, this is CF&I. Think about the transportation it would have took just to move this piece of steel. How many men? Who ordered it? Who made it? Where did it come from? You can't make this up. Again, Knuckles Packing Plant. Wow. I mean, how many of these did they have in Pueblo? I mean, I've never seen a place with so many different languages in such a short time, with so many different newspapers. I mean, who wrote all these newspapers? Who made these newspapers up every day to give to the people? I mean, where did you get all the food from? Who was the farmers? Who was the electricians? Who was the plumbers? Who's the doctors? Scope, Meat Knuckles Packing. I mean, these are two different places. I mean, so did they have two Meat Knuckles plants in Colorado? Pueblo, Colorado? Was there one in Denver? Was there one in Springs? I mean, these are questions you need to ask. Here's a Meat Knuckles Packing plant right there. There's a City Hall. There's another factory. This is before the flood. The levees don't look like they were completed yet. I got pictures of showing that. Here's a modern day picture of the same thing. I mean, time really hasn't changed all that much. I mean, we got rid of this building. So how long did this building? We got rid of all the smelting plants. And then all we did was put in a road. I mean that's it. Meat Knuckles plant. Like I said, look at the structure on this. Okay, this is a massive, massive train bridge. And the reason being is I have pictures of all this where it's tossed all of these trains like little Tonka toys. And yet the Meat Knuckles plant still standing after just tossing trains like they're nothing. Oh, there's a train car right there. And it's still up and operational today. Those are train cars back there. I mean, that's how massive this thing is. Here you go. Here's another picture of it. I mean, look at these smelting plants. This isn't the Meat Knuckles plant either, because this is, oh yeah, there's the Meat Knuckles plant right there. Okay, so here are the smelting plants that I showed you. I mean, you couldn't make this shit up if you wanted to. I mean, now that I keep digging and looking, it just like more and more and more that I dig. I mean, look at the train debris in the Meat Knuckles plant. Was originally this, and then went to this. By 1870, by 1920, basically. 30 years, 40 years, 50 years. How long do you think it would take you to build this? Who is the engineer and the, I mean, this is brick right here. This isn't, this is wood right here. This looks like brick. That looks like wood. I mean, that's what you would expect when you're at the 1800s and you're coming off the train. This is the buildings you would expect, not brick. Where did they get all the brick from? Well, they did have a brick plant. Let's go look that up. Fire brick plant. Where is that at? Fire brick plant. Old West? Oh, let's look at the Old West. Oh, man, you can't make this stuff up if you wanted to. Oh, yeah, here you go. 1906, Fuel and Colorado Iron Company. And the crazy part is you start looking at these pictures and you actually find real ones that match it. Here you go. Old Treasury Building. I mean, you can't make this up. There's nothing around here, yet they have light poles. So is it gas-operated light poles or are these electric light poles? I'm going to go with these are electric because most of the stuff is being used today. Oh, yes, and when you start looking around the world, you start understanding your architect. You understand. Oops, let's go back. That whoever built all this stuff was absolutely geniuses. There you go. All out of stone. Just absolute geniuses. And you can't tell the age. Oh, and here's another one, guys. Here is the biggest one to tell you that we are all the same. Go around the world and look at all the clock towers. You couldn't make it up if you wanted to. We don't even put clocks in towers anymore. We don't. So that's what I'm telling you. Whoever built this stuff was unified. You can't make this up. You cannot make this up. When I figured this out, I was like, what do you do with this? How do you explain this to the world? Here's Paris Fair. I mean, here is old Paris. How long do you think it actually took them to do the construction on this? There you go. Like I said, just magically, these massive stone structures that are absolutely breathtaking. I'm telling you, construction, even if this was temporary, there's no way you could do this temporary. You'd have to do load calculations. Because people walking in and out of this, massive groups of people, not going to happen. Here's a church in Pueblo, or Denver. I think this is Pueblo. Clock tower. Go look at all your clock towers. Like I said, watch telephone poles disappear, watch tree growth. That'll give you an indication of time. Roads, concrete, buggies, cars, that gives you all. Here you go. 1901 to 1909. How in the world did Denver build this? Why Pueblo was being built? Look at all of these people. I mean, you can't even make this up. This is the Westminster School. You can't make this up. I think this is in Greeley. Or where's this one at? Economic State Building College. Yeah, Greeley. Roman style. Look at it. This building's no, I don't know if it's here. I'm going to have to go look. This one, another one. Greeley, Colorado. And the crazy part is 1911 to 1935. So how did we get time to build all of this stuff? All of it in 30 years. Where we can't even, the last 75 years, we haven't even come close to building anything like this. Plants. Let's go to the Fire Brick Company. Here we go. I found that. Fire Brick Company. I didn't know Pueblo had one of these. I had to go look it up. Then, like I said, here you go. Another one. Fire Brick Company. And then if you come to this map that I have up on my page, Standard Fire Brick Company, right there. So I haven't really looked too much into this yet. It was kind of like one of those ones where I was searching a lot and I wasn't really coming up with a lot of hits, so I need to do a lot more investigation in this. And the thing is this map, go to Google Earth and start matching up stuff where you see, and you will start to see the trickery. There's no way that you can massively build this infrastructure in this amount of time. Not going to happen. Where did I go with the plans? Here, this one. This is another Achilles heel. This is where actually the depot was. This is Union Street right here. I don't know if that's the tree that they cut down. So basically the tree that they cut down was this oak tree. And they used to hang people from it. And one of the things is when they cut it down, it was in June 25th, 1883. Now I know I've made mistakes on it. I mean, you can't even imagine the information that I have uncovered and dug. Like I said, I went through newspapers, photographs, went back and compared photographs, looked back and forth at time and understood. Like this building right here, if you go through, you can see this building and you can see as the development of time happens. This guy has a hard hat on. And I can tell you this is well before they invented hard hats, because hard hats weren't built or made until the Hoover Dam. Watch a special on that. I watched construction. Like I said, I tried to learn as much as I could. And you can watch this building just magically just happens. This right here is a stone or a brick building. So they were building wood, and then they started going to brick. And then this is Union Bridge. I'm telling you, when you understand what you're looking for, you are gonna just you can't make this up. This is Union Street. Like I said, look at signs, they disappear. Look at light poles, look at trolley systems. This is before the flood. Look at buildings come and go quick. It's absolutely insane. This is the hardware store. So go look up the year this hardware store was. Go look up the year this was actually built. Go look up the year this was actually built. And then the one thing you're going to keep running into, here's the same picture. Here's that brick building. Here's where you stand or was standing. Here is where Union Depot is supposed to, Union Depot, the train depot, and it goes around. There's another picture. This one actually shows the flood. That building is gone. The depot's still the same. You couldn't make this up if you wanted to. Here's the tree, 29 feet in circumference. So 88 feet tall. The thing was 388 years old. You had to cut it down by hand with axes. And then pull out most of this tree stump because that's going to start degrading. And then as you put a road here, as the tree rots away, the ground's going to sink. So how did you get all this accomplished without power tools, without construction equipment? I mean, here you go, another picture of Union Street, south. Like I said, watch buildings come up, watch buildings go away. You couldn't make this up if you wanted to. Union Station right there is before the flood. This is the turntable. I showed you guys that in the video or Google Earth where you can actually check that. Like this, you could start, here you go, same place. Union. Now we got the hotel, but we still don't have the hardware store. Then these buildings disappear, and then bridges. You can see the bridge coming up back over there. God, I'd love to have all the original photographs to all this stuff. Here you go, side by side, kinda. Here's one side by side, and you'll notice this is right there, and then the depot is built. Go look it up, guys. Look up your history. Like I said, you couldn't make this up if you wanted to. There's that building. There's that guard shack right there. Like I said, start marking and start understanding. Here, this is before the flood. Same place and time. Hardware store. Trolleys going across a concreted bridge. We have cars, so we know that this is before the flood. Look at the infrastructure that was already put in. Buildings change, buildings go away, buildings pop up. Just magic. This one right here. Like I said, this is pre-flood. I got pictures of this before the pre-flood. When I put all of this together, there is no way anyone can question this. Not any way in hell could anyone question this. Here you go, Pueblo, Colorado. Before, look at all the massive stone buildings, factories, and the construction and everything else. Look at the massive buildings here. Today, most of the buildings have been modified. I wonder if that's still the original paint that they put on the building. So my question is why hasn't the city grown that much, and why have we torn down old buildings and replaced them with new buildings? I mean, you couldn't make this up if you wanted to. Modern day picture of it. The only thing that's changed is we have more roads and more parking lots and less buildings. And look again, more buildings have changed. I mean, so you have to understand, from 121 years, nothing has really changed in Pueblo, okay? Still use a lot of the old buildings. And a lot of buildings were torn down, not because they just didn't have the money to take care of them. You should go look up I think it's the New York Post Office. or Union Station, one of those. Let's go look that up. So that way, you guys, like I said, we can help you guys understand how construction actually is. Not now. New York. Station. Images. So like I said, when you really start understanding your architecture, you know what you're looking for. I mean, look at this, turns 100. Look at these grand, massive stone, beautiful art structures that have been torn down. There you go. Massive, massive stone structures. So at one time, I don't care where you go, you're going to see the same architect when you understand what you're looking for. I mean, you can't even make this up. Clock, statues, American flag. Look. And this is a construction site, it looks like, because they have shit laying all over. And look at, man, that is absolutely stunning. That is absolutely stunning. So how long do you think it took them to build this? Year? Month? Week? Here's a pulley system that they used in order to pull up block and stuff. They didn't have power equipment. Horsepower is what they had. Yeah, we're starting to get cars, so we know we're somewhere around that. But so when did they get time to build this and all of this? All basically, the United States isn't that old, guys. It's really not by our history. I mean, you can't even. I mean, basically, we've had nothing but war, pestilence, economic crashes, everything throughout history. And you start looking it up, like look up history of civil war and all that. Look at all the financial problems that they had. You couldn't make this up. So where did they get the capital? I mean, the absolute capital money to make buildings like this. And not only just in New York, but all over Kansas City, Washington, California, San Diego, Denver. I mean, you can't make this up. You really cannot make this up. All right, well, I'll leave this video at that, and we will call it. We will call it.